What's up, everybody? In this video, we're going to be going over if statements, else ifs, and what else means. This is another video into the fundamentals of programming, so let's jump right into it. In order to understand if statements, you need to first understand rational operators. And they're very important because in an if statement, you're going to have if, condition, then code. And if this condition is true, you're going to do the code in here. And if it's false, you're going to jump out of these brackets and do the code that's under it and skip this code. And a condition is, these rational operators are used to make this condition. So essentially, you have 6 rational operators, and they are as followed. You have equal to, you have not equal to, you have less than or equal to, you have greater than or equal to, you have less than, greater than. So this is equals, not equals, this is less than, or equals, this is greater than, or equals, this is less than, this is greater than. So a condition could look like this. So you could say, you could have if, and we're going to go x equals 10. You could say if, and we're going to say y equals 10. You could say if x equals y, or a number. You could just put 10 here, but we're going to put y. Do this code. Well, we have 10 here and 10 here. So x does equal 10 because they're both 10. So 10 equals 10, so you would do this code. Now, if this was 20, now this is 20, x is not equal to 20, so you would skip it and come right below the curly bracket. Now, for the less than or equal to, they're really simple. You're just saying, let's go back to what we originally had here. And this is 10. And let's just say this is 10. And we're going to do less than or equal to. Well, 10 isn't less than 10, but it's equal to. And this is saying it's less than or equal to. So 10 equals 10, so you would do this code. So if you would put not equals to here, well, 10 equals 10, so that's false, so you wouldn't do the code then. So they're really simple. Now, in the last video, I did logical operators, and you need to understand logical operators in order to understand conditions, because you could have a condition that has logical operators in it. I'm going to give you an example right now. X equals 10, y equals 10, z equals 20, and v equals 30. If x equals 10 and z is greater than v, do this code. And just for the, I didn't mean to put 10 here. You could have 10 there, but I wanted to put y. So x is 10, y is 10, this is 20, v is 30. So, and this is and. So 10 is equal to 10. So this is true. And 20 is not greater than 30. So this is false. So now we have true and false. Remember, for and, every one of these conditions has to be true. So this is going to be false. And if you guys are going to have to watch the logical operator video to understand logical operators. But that is what conditions are. So let's go over if statements. So all an if statement is a conditional statement saying if this user input is true, do this code. So I'm just going to write it out here. If condition code. So if this is true, do this. If it's false, come down here. Now, you can have multiple if statements. So you could have if condition do this code. So let's do an example. Let's say we have age as a variable. And age equals, let's just set age to 20. And we will say if age is not equal, you know what? If age is less than 21, person can't drink in USA. So if age, so age is 20, is less than 21, person can't drink in the USA. So this is true, so you would execute this code. Now, if we would have it to be 22, this would be 22, and we'd say if 22 is less than 21, do this code. And this is false because 22 is greater than 21. There's also another type of, so like I said, you can have multiple if statements in a row. There's also another type of if statements, and that's if else statements. So you can have if, let's say, day equals 1. If day equals 1, it's Monday. Else if day equals 2, it's Tuesday. Else if day equals 3, it's Wednesday. So what this is doing is day is 1. So it's going to come here and it's going to say, oh, the day is 1, so this is true. So it's going to do this code. And then since this was true, it's going to skip all of these other else if statements. Because they're else if. It's saying if this isn't true, go to the next one. If this isn't true, go to the next one. But if it's true, skip the rest. For example, let's say this was 2. So it's going to come here, it's going to say, oh, is day equal to 1? No, it's not. So this is false. So we're going to skip this, and we're going to come to here, and it's going to say, is day equal to 2? It's true, so it's going to do this code, and then it's going to skip the rest of the else if statements. Now, else ifs are nice to use because they optimize your program, because you can put the most likely choice up here, and the least likely choice is down here. So if the user enters a likely choice, it might be the first one, then you could skip the rest of the else if statements. Because if you just put if here, for example, let's say day is 3, or let's say day is 1. So if you just have if and no else, it's going to say if day is equal to 1, this is true. So it's going to come here and do this code, and then it's going to, after it's done doing the code, it's going to be here. And since there's no else here, it's going to come to this statement, and it's going to say, is day equal to 2? No, it's not. This is false. So it's going to skip this block, and it's going to come to here and say, is day equal to 3? And this is false, so then it's going to skip the block. If you would have just put else's here, since this was true, it would have skipped everything. There's one other thing I want to go over. You can have if condition else. And you could have if condition else if condition else. So what is else? Else is like a last resort. So let's say we come here and this is false. This condition's false, so it's going to skip this code. It's going to come to here and it's going to say this condition is false. And it's going to come to this else statement. Now you see this else statement doesn't have a condition. So anytime this else statement is hit, it's going to execute this code no matter what. It's like for all last resort cases. Same thing here. It's going to come, let's say this condition is false. So it's going to skip this code and it's going to come to here. Let's say this condition is false. It's going to skip all this code and it's going to come to this else, and the else is last resort. There's no code with this else, so it's going to do this code. So it's really simple. So I'm just going to give you a last example here. Let's just say we have x equals 10. If x 10, set x to 20. If x equals 20, set x to 30. If x equals 30, set x to 40. If x equals 10, set x to 20. Else if x equals 20, set x to 30. Else if x equals 30, set x to 40. Else x equals 50. So let's just go through this example. So x, we're going to start on this side. So x is 10. So we're going to come here. X equals 10. So this is true. So it's going to come in here. Well, now x is 20. Since these aren't else if statements, it's going to come to this one, and it's going to say, is x equal to 20? This is true, so now it's going to come in here, and now x is equal to 30. Now it's going to come down to this if statement, and it's going to say, is x equal to 30? This is true, so now it's going to come into this loop. X is going to equal 40. Now let's do this side. Is x equals 10? If x equals 10, set it to 20. So this is true. It's going to come in here. X equals 20. Now since these are else ifs, it's going to skip all of this, and it's going to go down. So now x is only 20. So you can see the big difference of using else statements compared to just a regular if. If you have ifs in a row, every if is going to get checked. If you have an if followed by else's, it's only going to check the if statements if the previous one was false. And then the else is a last resort default if none of these other ones were met. And you could also have, an if statement, x equals 10 code followed by an else in most cases. So code. And if x equals 7, this is false. So you would skip down to this else statement. It's the default. There's no condition. So it just goes to this code. It's kind of like the default last resort right here. So guys, that concludes everything for this video on if statements, else if statements, and else and rational operators and conditions. Thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button and give me a like.